The darkness that one knows to be true when it comes to the evils of mankind is beyond clemency. Rather than approach goodness with a pure heart, some humans tend to fall into the elite trap of satanic barbarism. Taking the innocence of children, to exploit it for a sick fetish, is indeed Panda Eyes.
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh yeah. I was surrounded by them.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Life Scope channel. On your way in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It is definitely appreciated. So from the last video, I was reading some of the comments, and one comment stood out in particular where a viewer suggested that I look into Panda Eyes. So thank you to that viewer for bringing it to my attention. However, it was really horrible to find out that this is what Panda Eyes could mean. Like, if you believe it or not, it's still terrible to know that something that seems so innocent is actually a part of a degenerate subculture. So, once again, thank you to that viewer. I do have the screenshot up with the comment. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the video. Now, I have to tell you, because I had worked with children once upon a time ago, this was a hard video to actually voice. I don't know what it was. It's like me reading the stuff and then kind of seeing some of the images. I was like, man, this is terrible. I can't even get this video out like I wanted to do last week. So I am just gonna voice this first part and then we're gonna go into the video. But I will say this, it is heartbreaking when you do hear this type of stuff because adults would not be able to recover from some of the things these children have gone through. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I know, but then it's like, ooh, I know. So anyway, let's get started on the video, and I'll be back at the end.
Have you noticed lately that there is a lot of talk about pandas? From t-shirts showing children with panda eyes, to cartoons with a panda and a muzzle, to music screaming out panda, panda. It's been going on for a few years unbeknownst to the masses. What exactly is Panda Eyes and how does it relate to children? Well, according to some people, this phrase is actually used as a pedophilic term for sodomy. When a child has experienced severe trauma due to brutal sodomy, it can cause pressure to move up in the body so quickly that it will force the capillaries to rupture around the eye sockets, resulting in ring dark bruises.
So, you ever heard of panda? Like I was telling you, panda. So you got panda panda is a secret code for a certain thing. And so when it comes down to that certain thing, it's so what it is you basically have a certain nerve in your rectum, and if you touch that nerve, you can turn a person into an animal. You can turn a person into whatever you want them to be if you just hold them down. So pretty much when you see black eyes like Blueface and shit like that, he got beat up, but he didn't get beat up where you thought he got beat up. He got beat up somewhere else, okay? And so the eyes come out, and they call them panda eyes. And they do this to, so you see people with these cigars, and they're all these big celebrities, they all have the cigar in common. That's that big-ass thing between their legs that they're sticking in.
It's easy to dismiss someone as being crazy or on drugs. And even if that is the case for Orlando Brown, it seems very timely that he gets arrested not too long after this video premiered. However, maybe it's just a coincidence, but how about this?
I've noticed a pattern in what is being represented. People think that this stuff is just a game. There is a reason why you see people dressed up as Satan. Not just, like Satan slipping himself in a little bit. No, full on visuals of Satan, people dressed as Satan, you know, dressed as a demon, got upside down crosses all on their clothes or pentagrams on their clothes. And people are just like, oh, that's funny. It's, you know, we're making fun. No, there's a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that, y'all. They know good and doggone well that God exists. They also know that Satan exists. They're just counting on the fact that y'all don't know that. But either way, the things that you take in, that they're feeding you, those things affect you. Whether you realize it in the moment or not, they affect you. That's why they do it. Entertainment industry, it's about influence. I'm not going to sacrifice the honesty in order to be politically correct. I can say whatever I have to say with respect for all of you.
Regardless of whether you believe it, there appears to be a sick agenda being pushed on the everyday viewer by those in the entertainment business. If this wasn't the case, then why are some celebrities allegedly speaking out on certain things such as pedophilia?
Well, I was 12 years old and my publicist, he basically talked me into doing things that I didn't really want to do. Hadn't had sex before, and he kind of convinced me that this was the right thing to do, and kind of told me, like, don't tell your parents, you know, and he bought me a bicycle. He always kept doing things for me that I didn't quite really understand.
So we kind of seduced
I started at 11. Yeah, he seduced me, and he started at 11 years old to 12. And then finally one day, at 12 years old, some encounter with Dana Plato happened, and I realized that that was the right thing and what he did was the wrong thing. And when he came to my house the next day, I attacked him. My mother knew right away what had happened, and my mother went after him. My dad stopped him, and my dad took his side and then didn't believe me.
Wait.
And,
Your dad,
he
didn't believe his own son.
Yeah, because, no, my dad, the guy did it. Predators are very smart. He set my father up to know that I was going to say something eventually. And he got in my father's ear and made my father, you know, told him that I was going to say something. And that it was all a lie. And so when I had told my father told my mom that I was lying. And then after that, the guy stalked me for like 2 years, and that's when they had no stalking laws. You know, everywhere I went, that guy was still there. But see, the problem that we have to do is we have to figure out, you know, this bill was shot down in 2006, and we've got to get this bill passed. We have to make people realize that children need to be safe on these sets, and they're not safe because parents want their kids to be in show business so bad that they were willing to do anything, and they'll send them off with strange people.
You know, Todd,
and that's something that you just shouldn't do. When a child is molested, for me, I can't speak for every other child, but when I was molested, it made me feel shame, degradation, made me feel less than average. I mean, I spent from 12 to 13 years old trying to figure out whether I was homosexual or not. I didn't know because I liked the feeling, but I didn't know that was wrong. You know, so, you know, if I can keep any child from having to go through what I went through by having these people get these background checks before you become a publicist, before you become a manager, you know, you have to have these background checks before you get around these minors in show business, because it's like show business is an open field to child molesters.
Now that we know what Panda Eyes is, what's the purpose for destroying the innocence of children this way? Maybe it's just pure evil with no reason, or could it be some form of satanic worship? As we go deeper into the world that some say is a conspiracy, let's talk about a possible reason for terrorizing kids through this particular torture: young blood.
Controversial new treatment that may hold promise, but at a price.
It does appear to reverse the aging process.
Dr. Jesse Karmazin is talking about transfusions with the young blood from teenagers, and he says it just may turn back the hands of time. That blood is going to patients over 35 as part of a clinical trial called Ambrosia, where subjects paid $8,000 to get the rich growth factors found in the platelets in blood's plasma.
The FDA has issued a warning about a trendy medical procedure that claims to slow the aging process. Clinics have been offering blood transfusions from teenagers, claiming the blood can help older people's skin look younger and provide other health benefits. But the FDA says it's risky and there's no proof of any benefits. A startup company was charging $8,000 for 1 liter of young blood.
Does it make sense to you that the so-called elite are not only abusing children, but taking their blood in order to maintain their vitality, and performing some type of blood ritual? Unfortunately, there seems to be a lot of demonic behavior along with a culture of people that engage in the sport of harming children for fame.
I wanted to say thank you once again to the viewer that suggested that I look into Panda Eyes. I had no idea that this was going on. And it's not just Hollywood. There is a whole subculture where Panda Eyes is going on with people who we will never probably come in contact with or even know. Or so we think. Because the internet, although it is a good thing because we can get on here and we can share information, it does help make the world that much smaller. Just like we can share information, the people who are doing these heinous things to children, they can also share information with each other. And actually, they do. They use the social media platforms to have their type of subculture where they are sharing what they have done to children. Now, a lot of that stuff was blocked, and I'm glad because I was trying to look into one thing and it seems like a lot of stuff was blocked. However, I didn't like the censorship of people who were trying to speak out in regards to this type of thing, and their videos were just unavailable. And this was like on different types of platforms. It was like it would say the video is not available or the account that's associated with this video is terminated. So I don't think that's a coincidence because I know I was trying to listen to, I'm going to say at least 3 or 4 videos that were years old, and those videos no longer existed. And I'm just wondering why. Like, what could they have said to have that video terminated or to have that video unavailable or whatever the case may be? So there's definitely some type of censorship that is going on behind this. And it makes you want to question why. Why is there censorship when it comes to exposing pedophilia? And the reason I'm saying this is because, like I said, I had worked with children a long time ago. And when I would read their files, it would just almost bring me to tears. But the children, they were so happy because they had been long removed from whatever situation they were in. So their attitude was very happy for the most part. You would not have known that they had gone through hell in such a short time of their lives. In such a short life, they went through hell. So it's real interesting when that type of thing is being censored as if it can't be talked about, because I believe that every child deserves a chance at being a child. No adult should rob a child of their innocence because maybe they have been robbed of theirs, because it is a sick cycle that usually hurt people. So if one person has been abused and they have been a victim, they may grow up being the abuser, and then they victimize someone and so forth until it just comes to a stop. So it's really unfair in a world where life isn't fair to intentionally hurt a child. I'm not saying wait until a child becomes an adult and then hurt him. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that it's unfair to intentionally try to hurt a child, especially when you don't know what's going on in their household. The child could already be dealing with an abusive parent, whether it's physical, sexual, verbal, and then here comes a predator that usually is able to see that in the child, and then so they prey on those type of children. But that's not always the case. But they do have a habit of preying on children that seem to be alone or may display certain type of patterns to where they feel like they can get away with it. So it's just extremely unfair, especially if you could go back and think about how you were as a child and the household you grew up in. What if you had a happy household? Because every child didn't. That is reality. But what if you had a happy household and then here comes someone that took advantage of you. You're literally just a kid minding your own business, doing kid things, playing in dirt, playing video games, playing with your friends, and then you have an adult use you to satisfy their sick need. And in that moment, your life has been changed on who you once were. So it is very, extremely unfair. It is selfish. It is sick. And, a lot of people should be talking about these type of things a little more. Because like I said, when I was looking online, there was quite a few videos that were unavailable. And it shouldn't be. Because if you're censoring people that want to talk about it, it leads other people to think that some people may be complicit. And it's just like with the Hollywood social spectrum. Some of the people who I put in a video, or some of the people that I may put in other videos, you may not agree with them. That's not the point. I don't put them in for people to agree with, whether you like them or not. But if they are in the scene and they are saying certain things, and it seems like, okay, if they say this, this could put a target on their back, maybe because they participated, or they definitely know or have possibly seen what was going on. So that is the message that's getting out from these celebrities, because they are in that lifestyle. And it just goes to show that celebrities, entertainers, athletes, what have you, they are not to be idolized, because we do not know what they are going through. And just think about having your livelihood on the line. If you don't do certain things, you can't make money to feed yourself or your family. And that is from what we see in the entertainment world. Now it goes beyond that, because some people are forced to be in that position without being in show business. So that's it for right now. Let me know what you think. I hope this video wasn't too long. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Take care.